that points one way.
Hey YouTube and vinyl community members, this is Chris. I thought I would do a video that I'd been planning to do for a while, but had just been putting it off, and then I saw recently two other videos that touched upon what I wanted to show, so that prompted me to do something. Andy's Vinyl Den had shown a Stories album that had their hit single Brother Louie on it, and then Graham Watson from Cracking Vinyl had shown an Ian Lloyd and Stories album that he picked up and was pleased with that. So I figured I would do something related to those. This is it'll start off with Mike Brown from Left Banke, and it'll sort of be a family tree or a family branch concerning him, and it'll touch upon Stories because he was in that band also. So to start with, Left Banke put out their first album in '67. So here's a single, a '70s reissue single of Pretty Ballerina and Walk Away Renee, the two big songs off their first album. I have a reissue of that album, Left Banke, Pretty Ballerina, Walk Away Renee on Smash. This is a '70s reissue on the Mercury label. Mike Brown and several other members, Tom Finn, George Cameron, Rick Brand, Steve Martin. 1967, Left Banke. Then 1968, Left Banke 2. This is an actual original Smash, which was a Mercury subsidiary. And then this was the last album proper for these guys. Mike Brown left. He was the keyboardist. But one of the songs on here was Desiree, which 1969 Mike Brown joined this band, Montage. I don't have vinyl of that. This is a 80s or Sunday's reissue from 2000, 2001, I think, with some bonus tracks. So Mike Brown, keyboardist, and they redid Desiree for this. So here's a little bit of Desiree.
Everything returns again, both the laughter and the rain. She is living somewhere far away. Still I ask her in my lonely way to stay.
And then Left Banke, they got together, recorded another album in '78, and put out an album. In the US it was called Strangers on a Train, and in the UK it was called Voices Calling. So this is a 1986 Relics Records reissue of that album. Relics Records. But this was minus Mike Brown. Steve Martin, Tom Finn, George Cameron are the original members that put this one together. Then after Montage, then not much was heard for a couple years. Then 1972, Mike Brown reappeared in this group, Stories. Keyboardist, and they had Ian Lloyd as the lead vocalist. This was a Kama Sutra album, 1972, on this bubblegum pink Kama Sutra label. 1973, this is the album that Andy from Andy's Vinyl Den had picked up, Stories About Us, which is a gatefold. And they had the hit song Brother Louie from this album. And then late 73, they put out their final album. Mike Brown had left, so now it was Ian Lloyd and Stories, Traveling Underground. So this is the one that Graham Watson had picked up. And let's see, wait a minute, this one was Kama Sutra still, but they had changed labels. Now it's this Garden of Eden type label. And on here might be the same, yeah. So 1973. Then 1976, Mike Brown reappeared in the band The Beckies. There he is in front and center, playing keyboards. This is more in the power pop vein. 1976. Here's might be one of the best tracks on that album, called One of These Days.
One of these days you'll be sorry. It's heartbreaker. Believe me, darling. One of these days you'll be sorry. I know. We could have love go on forever. Think of the times we had together. No one can give the kind.
And another track called The Story.
Join into a story about a love of mine.
So they sounded pretty keyboard oriented still, with Mike Brown producing and writing and performing. 1976, Ian Lloyd also reappeared, self-titled Ian Lloyd. And this is on Polygram, or Polydor, I mean. Standard red Polydor label. And then 1979, he put out his second album, Ian Lloyd, Goosebumps, I guess from nails on the chalkboard. So, lead vocalist, Scotty Brothers, sticker, though it's not and promo stamp, though it's just the standard Scotty Brothers label. And then Ian Lloyd produced another album in 1980, which I don't have, and he popped up again in mid-80s with some rock sort of album, and then again in the 2000s with keyboard or synth-based sort of spacey rock type album. That band was called Shake Space, and the one, the mid '80s one, was called Fast Forward. So that was concludes what I have and what I know about these guys. So that was my family tree branch on Mike Brown and where it led over to Ian Lloyd. So thanks everyone. Thanks for Andy and Graham for prompting me to make this video. So see everyone later.